What's good YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be sharing my thoughts on the Sony IER-Z1R. I'm just going to refer to it as the Z1R here on forth just because it's easier to say. Anyways, this is Sony's flagship IEM. It is using 2 dynamic drivers and 1 BA. This unit is actually on loan to me just for a couple days, so I didn't really have the time to put together a script like I normally would with my other videos. And because of that, this is mainly going to be first impressions, and I'm going to be going off the top of my head. Diving right into the packaging, this is something that I normally wouldn't care too much about just because at the end of the day, it's going to end up in my closet collecting dust. But Sony has outdone themselves here, and because of that, I think they deserve some praise. The unboxing experience is far and away the best I have seen out of any flagship IEM, and it definitely makes it feel like you're getting your money's worth when you buy this thing. In the interest of not wasting anybody's time though, I'm not going to bore you guys with a whole unboxing. You can go watch my unboxing video if you want to see what that looks like, and it is pretty cool, honestly. As for the Z1R itself, yeah, they're pretty chunky boys. I believe they're using zirconium for the build, so they're quite heavy, and they're also using, I think it's called perlage. That's something that's often found in watchmaking for the faceplates. That being said, they do exude quality, and the stock cables are far and away the best stock cables that I have seen on any other IEM so far. Okay, so diving into the sound impressions, I'm mainly going to be drawing select comparisons to my only other flagship IEM, the U12t from 64audio. And that's just because I think it's easier to have a frame of reference when talking about these very expensive flagship IEMs. Because honestly, this stuff isn't really comparable to a lot of the other IEMs that I've owned, the $300, $400, $500 IEMs. They're on another plane in that respect. Okay, so starting from the low end, the Z1R has a very, very powerful sub-bass emphasis, and there's also a lot of decay. Generally speaking, decay is not something that is strictly desirable, but it can be a good thing, and the Z1R strikes a very nice balance in my opinion. Pretty much every desirable quality that you would want in bass, rumble, thump, punch, the Z1R has it in spades. It is often referred to as the bass head's endgame, and for good reason at that. As a bit of a bass head myself, the Z1R's bass is phenomenal. It is the best bass that I've heard out of any IEM bar none. And compared to the U12t, which is generally considered to have one of the best bass responses out of any full balanced armature IEM, they don't even really compare, honestly. The Z1R is leagues ahead of the U12t in terms of bass. That being said, if you're not a bass head, I can see the bass on the Z1R coming across as maybe bloated, if you will. But to my ears, I don't really hear any coherency issues, and it never really comes across as muddled. Of course, this impression might just have to do with my particular predilection for bass. It just happens to be the first thing that I always notice, and the Z1R's bass just grabbed me without a doubt. And it's the standout of this IEM in a lot of respects. Moving on to the mid-range, I am actually not so impressed with male vocals on the Z1R in particular. While they don't sound bad, they also don't sound special in any regard. And to this effect, I think that there's a dip at around 1000 kilohertz. And it has a tendency to make higher frequency male vocals sound a little bit hollow or recessed, for lack of a better word. Conversely, once you get to female vocals and that upper mid-range, the frequency response starts to shift upwards, and because of that, female vocals tend to be a lot more pronounced on the Z1R. Relatively speaking, the U12t doesn't put a priority on either male or female vocals. They both tend to be very flat, and that's not the case with the Z1R at all. Especially in the genres that I listen to, I found myself leaning towards a lot of J-pop and K-pop with the Z1R. The other genre that I usually listen to, country music, which is a more male-centric genre, I didn't really find myself enjoying myself as much with the Z1R. Which is not to say that the Z1R is strictly bad with male vocals, it's just that it sort of pales in comparison to its female vocal performance. And moving on to the highs, admittedly this is something that I don't really focus on too much. As long as it's not too bright or just completely rolled off, I'm a pretty happy camper. And the U12t really sort of floats my boat in this respect. The highs on it are exceedingly natural, and I think that has to do with the, I think it's the TIA driver that they use for the highs. Lots of extension, lots of detail, but it just sort of takes a backseat for me on the U12t, which is exactly where I want it. Now, conversely on the Z1R, I feel like there's an emphasis on stick impact, and it has a tendency to overshadow the extension of the highs, which are definitely there, they're present, but also just sort of thrown into the mix as an afterthought after the stick impact. And I don't really like stick impact. I know for a lot of people it can be a good thing, but that's mainly going to come down to personal preference, honestly. Overall, in terms of sound signature, I hear the Z1R as having a moderately V-shaped frequency response. By comparison, the U12t has much more of a mild U-shape frequency response. The Z1R has a very warm, engaging timbre to it, and it also doesn't have any of that BA timbre shit that you get with the U12t. And the U12t isn't bad in terms of BA timbre by any respects. It's definitely one of the better offenders of BA timbre, but it's definitely present, and you get some of that plasticky texture that is not present at all with the Z1R despite its balanced armature driver. And strictly in terms of presentation, the Z1R is quite interesting. I don't really have an eloquent way of explaining what I hear, but it definitely has a speaker-like quality or grander-than-life quality to the way it presents sound. It feels like you are a king when you're listening to the Z1R. By comparison, the U12t has a much slicker, laid-back sound. It sort of feels like you're in a club in the back rows, just chilling, basically. Let's talk technicalities because the Z1R plays ball here too, as you might expect for a flagship IEM. Resolution and detail retrieval are quite good, but I would give the edge to the U12t just because, after all, it's running 12 balanced armatures, so you would expect the U12t to have a little bit more detail. But the Z1R isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, and I'd imagine it would play ball pretty well with other flagship IEMs in this respect. Now, the other main reason that I wanted to check out the Z1R is because it is often regarded as having one of the widest sound stages of any flagship IEM. And to this effect, yeah, it's the widest I have heard out of any IEM, but I'm not going to make ridiculous exaggerations or bullshit comparisons when I say it has the widest soundstage. It's only wide relative to other IEMs. And to this effect, it's sort of kind of one of the few IEMs that breaks the head stage barrier. And that's just sort of a consequence of having the shells of these IEMs stuck directly inside your ear. You're not going to get the same stage that you will with headphones or speakers. Overall, this is an IEM that plays very well with female-centric genres, so once again, weebs and anime OST lovers will rejoice in the Z1R's sound signature. And it definitely has an advantage over the U12t in terms of those genres. But like I said, it tends to fall back in those male-centric genres like country music, which is another one that I listen to often. Okay, and I think that's enough shilling the Z1R's phenomenal sound. It is definitely by far the best sounding IEM that I've heard. I tend to prefer it over the U12t actually. The main issue here though is that the fit and the ergonomics of the Z1R are simply atrocious. Ergonomically, they are far and away the worst IEMs that I have had the, I guess you could say, displeasure of using. Nothing about the Z1R's ergonomic design remotely tries to conform to the natural shape of the human ear. You know, I thought I was actually going to have a pretty good chance with the Z1R because I was able to fit the Blessing 2, which a lot of people have fit issues with. And the Blessing 2 fit me pretty darn well. But the moment I put the Z1R in my ear, I just knew it was going to be a problem. And the longest that I can keep these in comfortably is maybe like half an hour before I start cramping up and getting a bunch of pain in my ear canal. And I'm also not alone here. There are a lot of individuals on the Discord server, the audio Discord server that I frequent, who have had issues with the Z1R's fit. And it's sort of a tradition to post a fit picture when you get a chance to demo the Z1R. And there are quite a few people that I know who have had to sell the Z1R just because they blind bought it and it didn't fit them. So yeah, not really an IEM that I can recommend buying. I would definitely demo these first if you are given the opportunity to do so. Overall, I think it's just a little bit disappointing to know that such a phenomenal sounding IEM is ultimately marred by subpar ergonomics. And I really wanted to love this IEM, I really did. The bass response is leagues ahead of the U12t, and it has my ideal sound signature for a lot of the genres that I tend to listen to. But having my ears' virginity taken literally every single time I plug these into my ears, yeah, that ain't it, chief, I'm sorry. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good the IEM sounds, and these sound damn good, like the best I have heard, if they just don't fit your ear. And to this effect, fit isn't the only issue with the Z1R. The seal makes a huge difference in terms of the perceived sound. If you don't get a good seal with the Z1R, the high frequencies are going to be very peaky. And especially around the 6000 kilohertz region, you can get some sibilance, and just in general, it's going to be a very bright sound signature, more so than it should be. You can see that they do fit my ears and I get a decent seal, but like I said, the pain and the cramping is just not worth it for me. In conclusion, this is the best IEM that I've heard so far. I tend to go back and forth between the Z1R and the U12t, with the Z1R having the edge overall, just because of the genres that I tend to listen to the most. As always, I hope you guys found this video review informative. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and to subscribe for future content. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and peace out until next time.